Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Praying Well. This is Mike, your host, and this week we're going to be talking about should you pray if you feel like you're a phony. But before we do that, I want to mention two things. First, if you like these videos on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. That's either there or there, I'm not really sure, but make sure you subscribe. It helps us get these videos in more hands of people just like you. Second, I have a brand new PDF. Now I'm recording this in mid-February 2018, and it's a brand new PDF, and it's all about the 5 ways and the 5 spots in your day where you can be more prayerful. I don't know about you, but I want to be more prayerful in my day. The problem is my schedule is busy, I have a lot to do, sometimes I forget to pray, and sometimes I lack the confidence that I really need to pray well. So that's why this PDF really will help you. All you have to do is go to my website, mikestpierre.com/5 moments. It's that simple. Okay, so on to this week's conversation. Should you pray if you feel like you're a phony? So we all feel phony from time to time. Maybe you want to call it feeling fake or plastic, whatever it might be. But when we feel that way, we are less inclined to then go to God in prayer. We have a sense that, God is perfect and God is omniscient and omnipotent and God is purely loving. And we are, well, so far short of all of those things. We've messed up. We've made mistakes. We pray imperfectly, inconsistently, and we may have had some bad experiences of prayer. So add all of that up, and we're here, and God is here, and we are just very unlikely to pray and bridge that chasm. So here's the couple of things I want to share with you today. First of all, it's really God's grace that enables us to pray, to build that muscle of prayer. Yes, we have an obligation to build some of the routines and the habits and just kind of get used to building that spiritual momentum of prayer, but it's really God's grace that makes us able to pray consistently and ultimately pray well. Second, if you feel like a phony when you pray, you are not alone. And the famous Trappist monk Thomas Merton, one of my very favorite saints, I hope he's going to be a saint someday, and spiritual writers, he talked all about this when he was alive. And he talks about the false self and the true self. And he says that most of us spend most of our days chasing and trying to build up and fabricate this false self. And he talks about it and he says, really, we are ultimately meant to discover our truest self. And our truest self is the self that God sees in each one of us, deep, deep down. When you take off the veneer, take off the layers, that's the person that God sees in you and in me. And what is that person? Who is that person? Well, you're God's beloved son or daughter. I am God's beloved son. That's really who we're meant to uncover and discover and ultimately embrace. So I don't know about you, but I think that's great news. And that's why when you feel like you're a phony and then you're a little less likely to go to God in prayer, just keep that in mind, that there's a true self underneath all of the corrosion and the sin and the bad experiences and the whole thing. And that truest self is who you really are in the eyes of God. And that is as a beloved son or daughter of God. That's great news. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of Praying Well. I hope that next week when we see one another, you'll be able to say that you were indeed praying well. Peace.